student life and an honorable university name they will be proud of throughout their lives. We act together with leading institutions and organizations, student life, and an honorable university name they will be proud of throughout their lives. 3+1. We act together with leading institutions and organizations, student life, and an honorable university name they will be proud of throughout their lives. 3+1. We act together with leading institutions and organizations, student life, and an honorable university name they will be proud of throughout their lives. Provide students with the opportunity to produce new ideas and turn them into products. We want to see you as a member throughout their lives. Provide students in a warm seaside opportunity to produce new ideas and turn them into products. We want to see you as a member throughout their lives. In a warm seaside opportunity to produce new ideas and turn them into products. We want to see you as a member throughout their lives.
Günaydın.
Günaydın hocam.
Ben aslında bu şehrin, suyuyla hayat verdiği medeniyetlerin beşiği, gizemli ve büyülü. Sokakları sahile çıkan, tarihi ve modern dokuların harmanlandığı Mersin. Geçmişin izlerini taşında toprağında saklayan, barındırdığı güzellikleri sergilemekten de çekinmeyen Mersin. Hititlerden Asurlara, Babillerden Romalılara köklü bir geçmişe sahip. Doğal güzellikleriyle Türkiye'nin gizli cenneti. Tarihi ve modern dokuların armonisiyle her köşesinde şaşırtan şehir. Sırlarla dolu atmosferiyle cezbeden, inanç turizminin güzergahı, efsaneler diyarı Mersin. Obaların kurulduğu, yörüklerin cömert yurdu Mersin. Akdeniz boyunca uzanan sonsuz kumsallarıyla yeşili ve maviyi süsleyen narenciye bahçeleriyle, yöresel ve uluslararası şenlikleriyle, zengin tatlarıyla hem göze hem damağa hitap eden, verimli topraklarıyla insanı besleyen, kendi kendine yetebilen şehir. Doğu Akdeniz'in en önemli liman kenti ve lojistik merkezi. Türkiye'nin dünyaya açılan kapısı, mavi sulardan Hatay'a, Konya'ya, Kapadokya'ya uzanan çocukların nefesi, gençlerin heyecanı, yaşlıların umudu Mersin. Torosların yeşiline sırtını dayayan, eşsiz doğası, masmavi denizi, sıcacık kumsalları, kültürel miraslarıyla Mersin'de tarih var. Mersin'de keşfedilecek değerler, eşsiz lezzetler var. Mersin'de mavi var, yeşil var. Mersin'in dağlarında alınacak nefes, yürüyecek çok yol var. Mersin'de hayat var. Mersin'e zamansız bir yolculuk için vr.mersinbel.tr seni bekliyor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you attending the 4th International Symposium on Sustainable Logistics Belt and Road Initiative. This symposium is organized by the Department of International Trade and Logistics at Toros University, Faculty of Economics, Administrative and Social Science in collaboration with the Turkish Logistics Association, Lazarski University, Birmingham City University, Monnet Excellence on Sustainability, the University of Tokyo, and Wismar University. We are highly grateful to all the parties involved for their contribution to this event. This symposium has attracted participation from various countries and disciplines, focusing on the theme of Belt and Road Initiative. During the two-day event, we will have the opportunity to review more than 20 scientific papers presented in parallel sessions, as well as enlightening keynote speeches by 8 distinguished speakers. Organized under the main theme of Belt and Road Initiative, the main objective of this symposium is to shed light on the latest trends in the field of logistics and supply chain management. It also aims to promote the sharing of current findings and practices, contribute to the advancement of scientific research in this field, and support sectorial activities. By addressing regional challenges, we hope to develop common solutions and foster professional and social connections and collaborations among stakeholders. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Associate Professor Ayhan Demirci, the Head of International Trade and Logistics Department at Toros University, Faculty of Economics, Administrative and Social Science, to deliver the opening speech.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, fellow participants, 3 years ago, we successfully completed the International Symposium on Sustainable Logistics, which was organized with the cooperation of our partner, Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology. And 2 years ago, we organized the second one with the highlighted theme of circular economy. The second International Symposium on Sustainable Logistics is organized with the cooperation of Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology from Japan. And this time, University of Clermont-Auvergne and Monnet Center of Excellence on Sustainability from France joined us. And in the previous year, the third one is organized with the highlighted theme of digitalization, with the cooperation of University of Clermont-Auvergne and Monnet Center of Excellence on Sustainability from France, Birmingham City University from the United Kingdom, and Lazarski University from Poland. And also all are supported by Turkish Logistics Association. And now we have come together for the 4th International Symposium on Sustainable Logistics with the highlighted theme of Road and Belt Initiative. And for this symposium, our partners are Birmingham City University from the United Kingdom, Lazarski University from Poland, Wismar University from Germany, the University of Tokyo from Japan, and Monnet Center of Excellence on Sustainability from France, and also supported by Turkish Logistics Association. I mean, we have successfully organized events in collaboration with 8 different partner universities from 6 different countries to date. We are very pleased with the increasing interest to this symposium, and it encourages us. Today, we have come together again with a shared vision and common goal to explore the profound impact of the Belt and Road Initiative in logistics and its role in fostering sustainability. The Belt and Road Initiative has been envisioned as a transformative platform, fostering enhanced connectivity and cooperation among the participating countries. Through substantial investment in infrastructure development, encompassing ports, roads, railways, airports, power plants, and telecommunication networks. The Belt and Road Initiative aims to create a seamless network that bridges Asia, Europe, and Africa. This ambitious project has the potential to reshape global trade, connecting continents and enhancing economic collaborations. By providing infrastructure and streamlining transportation networks, the Belt and Road Initiative aims to create more efficient and sustainable supply chains. Our discussions today will delve into the various facets of this initiative, examining its benefits, challenges, and the strategies needed to maximize its positive outcomes. Through collaborations and innovations, we can harness the full potential of this informative endeavor, ensuring a more sustainable and prosperous future for all. From this side, this symposium will provide a platform for thought-provoking discussions, insightful presentations, and fruitful collaborations among esteemed researchers, industry experts, and practitioners from around the world. We have meticulously curated a comprehensive agenda that encompasses a diverse range of topics. Moreover, this event is an excellent opportunity for networking, forging partnerships, and exchanging best practices. We encourage you to actively engage in these various sessions, share your knowledge, and contribute to the rich tapestry of ideas that will emerge during our time together. Before concluding, I would like to thank to our seminal keynote speakers who inspire us with their speech. Thanks to Saad Arnold, General Manager at Cedar Maritime Agency, Dr. Matteo Creglia, Transport Modeler and Analyst at the International Transport Forum, OECD, Dr. Ali Arno, Professor at Wismar University, Dr. Manuel Morales, Associate Professor at ESC Claremont Business School, Dr. Ryuichi Shibasaki, Associate Professor at the University of Tokyo, Dr. Alexandra Laskovska-Rutkowska, Professor at Lazarski University, Haldun Kavrar, General Manager at ATA Forwarding, and Kerem Kavrar, Head of Commercial at Mersin International Port. And also I would like to thank the President of the Turkish Logistics Association, Professor Gülçin Büyüközkan, and Vice President of Turkish Logistics Association, Professor Mehmet Tanyar, who contributed us for this organization and provide all kinds of support. In addition, I would also like to express my special thanks to Chairman of Toros University Founding Board of Trustees, Mr. Ali Özveren, Chairman of Toros University Board of Trustees, Mr. Sertaç Özveren, and Rector of Toros University, Professor Ömer Arıyorz. And finally, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee, whose tireless efforts have made this event possible. Without their dedication and generosity, this symposium would not have achieved its full potential. Let's embrace this unique opportunity to deepen our understanding of different perspectives of sustainable logistics. Welcome again for the first day of the symposium. Thank you and wish you all a fruitful and memorable symposium.
Thank you, Associate Professor Demirci. Now, I would like to give floor Professor Gülçin Büyüközkan, President of the Turkish Logistics Association, to present her speech. Please. Could you open your microphone, please, Professor Büyüközkan?
Thank you.
Now it's okay.
Dear guests, dear colleagues, good morning. It is my pleasure and great honor to salute you all in the name of the LODER, Turkish Logistics Association Board. I would like to welcome you to the 4th International Symposium on Sustainable Logistics, which is organized by Toros University, specifically by the Department of International Trade and Logistics, with the support of Monnet Center of Excellence on Sustainability, Lazarski University, Birmingham City University, the University of Tokyo, Wismar University, and LODER, Turkish Logistics Association. The essence of sustainability lies in meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In the context of logistics, this translates to optimize supply chain, reducing carbon footprints, and ensuring that economic growth doesn't come at the expense of environmental health. The symposium theme of this year, Belt and Road Initiative, is both timely and significant. It aims to enhance global trade routes and foster economic cooperation across Asia, Europe, and Africa. And its scope and scale present unparalleled opportunities and challenges in the realm of logistics and sustainability. The Belt and Road Initiative presents us with unique challenges. The infrastructure projects span diverse geographies, each with its own environmental and social economic context. And this initiative can serve as a catalyst for green innovation in logistics. From the development of energy-efficient transportation networks to the implementation of smart logistics systems, the potential for sustainable advancement is immense. During this symposium, very valuable keynote speakers and academic presentations will provide insights about the current agenda, latest developments, business applications, and scientific work samples on the area of sustainable logistics and supply chain. In this regard, in the name of LODER, I would like to express my gratitude to our distinguished speakers. Please let me take this opportunity to also thank all of those who have supported the organization of this event, in particular the conference organization team, Professor Dr. Köksal Hazır, Associate Professor Ayhan Demirci, Associate Professor Gökçe Manavgat, Associate Professor Dr. Özgür Uğur Arıkan, and our most esteemed partners. Please let me end my words with my sincere wish and hope that this symposium becomes a great success. May this event be a platform for inspiration, collaboration, and meaningful dialogue as we collectively work towards a greener, more connected, and sustainable logistics industry. I salute you with my deepest regards and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Professor Büyükoskan, for your valuable support and collaboration. We will now take a short break and meet again at 10:30 a.m. in Turkish local time. When we come back, we have four precious keynote speakers, Dr. Ruichi Shibasaki, Mr. Saad Arno, Professor Ali Arno, and Mr. Haldun Kavra. Thank you all for your presence and participation in the symposium. Hi again. In this part of the symposium program, we have the privilege of hosting esteemed keynote speakers who will contribute their valuable insights. We will begin with Dr. Ryuichi Shibasaki from the University of Tokyo, Graduate School of Engineering, who will present on the topic Global Logistic Intermodal Network Simulation Modeling and Application of the Middle Corridor and Neighboring Regions. Following that, we have Mr. Saad Arno, General Manager of Cedar Maritime Agency, who will enlighten us on the subject of role of technology in delivering efficiency in maritime world. Then we have Professor Ali Arno from Hochschule Wismar University, who will present relevance of time to manage the life cycle asset value of heavy asset companies for decarbonization on the example of a cruise component. Lastly, Mr. Haldun Kavrar, General Manager of ATV Forwarding, will show up with this speech, The End of an Era, Just-in-Time System. Before we proceed with the keynote speeches, let me remind you to hold your questions until the end of each presentation. This way, we can ensure structured and comprehensive discussion. Now, we can start with our precious keynote speakers, Dr. Ryuichi Shibasaki. He will present Global Logistic Intermodal Network Simulation Modeling and Application to the Middle Corridor and Neighboring Regions. Dr. Shibasaki, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dogan. So it is very honor for me to give my presentation such a splendid online seminar. So yes, those are my. Can you see my screen? So yeah, thank you. So the title of my presentation is the Global Logistics Intermodal Network Simulation Modeling and Application to the Middle Corridor and Neighboring Regions. And fortunately, I and my Japanese colleague visited many places in Turkey last September, and we collected many fruitful information. So today's presentation, unfortunately, the most of them are most of the result is before our visit to the last year. But anyway, so we are still improving the our simulation results. So that we'd like to continue our effort to develop the model from now on. So this is a short, brief introduction of myself, but I will skip this part because of the time limitation. So yeah, firstly, I'd like to talk about a little bit for, how the cargo flow, how the logistics are globalized. So firstly, I show the AIS data regarding the container ships in the world. So as you can see, the many container ships navigate along each continent, including the trunk route between the Europe and East Asia, transiting the Gibraltar Strait, the Mediterranean Sea, Bosporus Strait, the Suez Canal, and Indian Ocean to the East Asia, such as Japan or China. So, along this trunk route, so many container ports are located, so the cargo flow can be observed in the trade of between these two areas, Europe and East Asia. So of course in this way, of course the global maritime shipping is the most important transport means for the long distance transport of the container cargo, for example, between the East Asia and Europe. But as you know, and this is a main topic of today's seminar. So another alternative currently available for in the land. So because of the implementation of the Chinese policy called the Belt and Road Initiatives. So firstly, the BRI policies by China was implemented in the late 2013, at that time, the President Xi Jinping declared the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. But before his declaration, firstly, the private companies already provided some new transport service across the Eurasian continent since the 2011. So I'd like to say that this kind of the realization of the land transport network across the Eurasian continent proposed by China is not only proposed by the Chinese government, but also the many private companies or many people would like to connect China and European countries, or East Asian countries and European countries by land. And another movement of the some regional integration is, I'm sorry that you cannot see the some words, but this is I'd like to say the Eurasian Economic Union was launched in the 2015. So the member countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, I colored in green in this map. So the member countries are Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz, and Armenia. So by developing this kind of union, so the red country is China, and the green one is the Eurasian Economic Union, and the blue one is the European Union. So the Eurasian Economic Union can connect the China and the EU countries, and in the member countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, you don't need to stop at any borders inside these countries. For example, in the between Kazakhstan and Russia, and railway or trucks can easily go through these borders. So when the cargo are transported from China to European countries, they should stop at only twice, including the border between China and Kazakhstan and border between the Belarus and Poland. And also the Chinese people and Chinese government invested so much at the border area, including the dry port. Actually, this is a territory in the Kazakhstan, but they invested a lot. And unfortunately, the rail gauge is different between China and Eurasian, the ex-Soviet countries. So they need to change the wagon like this. This kind of facility is necessary, but they well developed and well operated. So because of this kind of effort, the railway, the availability of the railway is become very feasible. So for example, this is the example of the shipping cost and time from Wuhan. It's one of the important inland city in China to Hamburg, Germany. The transportation cost and transportation time of railway is in the middle of air transport and the sea transport. So it becomes more feasible. But one of the important points that I'd like to say is this cost, actually the freight charges for the cargo owners, is discounted by the subsidized provided by Chinese local government. So the original cost is around $10,000 per container or so on. So if the cost of the railway is around 10,000, it is almost approach to the air transport. But the transportation times is very different. So no one would like to use railway. But by discounting about half of the cost, by Chinese local government because they promoted the railway transport based on the Belt and Road Initiative policies. So I'd like to say this subsidized from Chinese government has a significant impact on the competitiveness of the railways. So from the start of the China-Europe Railway Express in 2011, there are not so many cargo are transported, but after the implementation of after the declaration of the BRI at the end of 2013, so that since 2014, the number of container trains and the traffic volume are significantly increasing. So this is based on the power of subsidized by Chinese local government, we consider. And currently, there are some problems. The first problem is some COVID-19, and then after that, the Russia and Ukraine war. So because of this war, the Western countries, European countries or Japan or Korean companies, it's difficult to use this route. Chinese company, no problem. Russian company, no problem. So between the transport between China and Russia, there are no problem. But for us or for European countries, it is very difficult to use. So I skipped this one. The middle corridor is one of the alternative to use the land transport from China, Kazakhstan, Caspian Sea, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and some other East European countries, or some connected with the maritime transport from the Turkish or Georgian seaport. So as you know, and we visited many places along the middle corridor route to investigate the feasibility of the middle corridor. So actually the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway or Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline are constructed, and yes, so the Turkish port would be one of the gateway of the middle corridor. So we visited Ahal Karaki station in Georgia here. No, but not included in this map. But anyway, the Ahal Karaki station in Georgia is the changing station of the wagon from the Soviet gauge to the European gauges. So this is similar with the Horgos station between the Kazakhstan and China. So this is still under development. So when we visited last year, it did not work actually. So the facility was developed, but no cargo. We could not see any cargo move. So I skipped this one. And also another key point of the middle corridor is ferry in the Caspian Sea. So the Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan government or companies invest and develop the new terminals. But still there are some problems. For example, in the frequency of the service is not enough, or the cost is a little bit expensive. So such problem are still observed. So okay. So our research motivation. Yeah, so our research motivation is to describe this kind of intermodal international cargo movement on a global scale, including the competition between the maritime shipping and land transport. And also in our model now, we include the air transport if necessary. And but this is a very huge model and it's very complicated. So to simplify, we just focus on the cargo allocation. So some vessels and other trains or something. So such the demand supply side is given. So we just focus on some demand side or some allocation problem. So by doing that, we just developed some the concept of the model is very simple, but territory or covered range is very wide and complicated. But the model itself is not so complicated. So actually we developed had developed this model more than 10 years, and a few years ago we published the one book including the model theory and some application to many countries, including most of them are some developing countries areas like Central America, Southeast Asia, South Asia, African countries, and so on. So this time, so today I'd like to show I think that I don't have enough time, so I just briefly introduce the simulation result regarding the China-Europe Railway Express and the Middle Corridor simulation. So this model we call the global logistics intermodal network simulation model. So we consider many kind of transportation modes, such as the maritime shipping, railway transport, truck transport, and air transport. So our model is based on the kind of stochastic network assignment model. It's very similar to the logit model and under the random utility theory. So we considered some probability of choosing for each passage or each route based on the generalized cost. Generalized cost means including the transportation cost and transportation time. Both are included. And the transportation time is converted into the monetary term by using the value of some coefficient we call the value of time, Vt. So I do not explain for the detail, but and one thing is that we consider some capacity constraint for each link. So if the cargo flow concentrated in some specific links, the congestion will occur, and then some delayed time will occur due to the congestion. So we considered such kind of capacity constraint for each transport mode. This is a road link, and this is a rail link, capacity constraint in the railway link. In addition to the transportation cost and the transportation time. So we also consider that more detailed maritime shipping network by each liner services. So each cargo can follow choose each link, and then we interpret the such movement as for example, in some cargo once discharged in such port, some transshipment port, and then loaded to other services. So that this kind of movement of the transshipment is also described in our model. I skip. And also yes, as I said, in the land transport network, we include the road transport, rail transport, and the air transport. So like this. So this is a very big transportation network, including more than 200 seaports all over the world. and land transport network to cover the Eurasian continent and the air transport network. And we also, this is just the cargo allocation problem. So we need to prepare some cargo shipping demand on regional basis. In other words, the origin destination matrix. So that we need to prepare this very huge matrix for the cargo shipping demand from some trade statistics, and divided into the many detailed regions based on some economic indices. So this is some kind of validation. So I just show the port cargo throughput. The x-axis is the observed throughput, annual throughput, and the y-axis is the estimated throughput. So in terms of the port cargo throughput, in most major port, I think some are a little bit different between the observed and our estimation. But in most port, the observed throughput and our estimation is very similar. So we are some confident for our model. So I skip this one, so I just focus on some simulation on the middle corridor. So this is a work by Mr. Inoue. He is a student of my student, and Professor Arai. He is a Japanese researcher in the Niigata Prefecture University. So we visited last year. We visited Turkey last year. And we consider the feasibility of the middle corridor, and we simulate the impact of the several policies related to the middle corridor, including some railroad improvement. So we increase the frequency of rail service along the middle corridor. And another one is the improvement of the Caspian ferry. So that we also consider to increase the frequency of the ferry service. And a third option is some reducing the border barriers when crossing border barriers inland. So we consider some reduce the border barrier coefficient. So this included some in our model, we preset some border barrier coefficient regarding the additional time or cost at the land borders. So in our simulation, we reduce the border coefficient. And the last one is subsidized. So it's very important, as I said. So we consider some reduction of the freight charges of railways. This was actually implemented to the European railways, China European railways, but we also similar discounting of the rail freight charges along the middle corridor. So we prepare the total 6 scenarios in addition to the base cases. I'm sorry, I don't have enough time. So this is this is the output of our simulation. So regarding the shipping volume in the Caspian Sea, so we find the scenario 5 or scenario 4 is the most impact. We estimated significant impact. So the scenario 5 is actually this is a composite scenario to include in the all policies. So if implemented all policies, we can the Caspian ferry shipping volume is more than 70,000 per year. So this is our tentative result. So, but if we focus on the range of the impact, we check the origin city of each cargo to transit the Caspian Sea. So firstly, we expected that if the middle corridor is the alternative of the China-European Railway Express, so in that case, the Chinese cargo or European cargo should shift to the middle corridor and the Caspian to use the Caspian ferries, Caspian Sea ferries. But unfortunately, even in the most significant scenario in S5 or S5-2, the no cargo from China and no cargo from European countries will use the Caspian ferry. So only the cargo from the neighboring regional countries, the countries along the middle corridor, like Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, and Russia. These countries' cargo will increase to use the Caspian ferry. And also this is a significant topic. So the Turkish cargo, some of Turkish cargo also shift from other region to the middle corridor. So the territory, the impact of the some such the policies, is that I mean the range of the impact of the middle corridor improvement is less than our expectation because the Chinese cargo or European cargo are not included. So yeah, this is a summary of the our findings. So I do not explain for details. And also that we conducted another simulation to consider the Ukraine and the Russian war. So we increased the barriers of the borders between the Russia and Ukraine. So at that case, we also calculated, and but even in these cases, the Caspian Sea cargo are coming from the countries along the middle corridor. No cargo are coming from, almost no cargo is coming from China or European countries. But not only the countries along the middle corridor, Turkish cargo will use more the Caspian Sea ferry. So this is our result. So from now on, we consider more detailed network, especially for the European side. Our network is not enough. So, and also we consider that, for example, another alternative like Northern Sea route, Arctic shipping route, or some other transportation route. So that is end of my presentation. Thank you for kind attention. I'm sorry, we don't have enough time for questions.
Thank you, Dr. Shibasaki. If it's okay for you, I would like to open the floor for questions. If anyone has any question or would like to share their thoughts on Dr. Shibasaki's presentation, please feel free to do so.
I want to ask a question. Hi, Ryuichi. Welcome again. From this time we met together in online. And again, I hope to see you face to face. I thank you for your presentation about mathematical modeling. There are too many important informations, and you visit the middle corridor countries, some countries maybe, and see on the place. For example, in Turkey, I think maybe I don't know, but about Kazakhstan maybe.
Yes.
And just I want to wonder about the some problems in South Corridor, for example, under the threatened because of the piracy, and North Corridor also under the threaten of weather conditions and some political problems also in Suez Channel or Arabian Sea, Ukrainian, Russia problems, etc.
Yeah.
So Under these conditions, I think there are too many opportunities for the middle corridor. What do you think about some opportunities or strengths for Turkey on the focus of Turkey? Is there any strong opportunity for Turkey in middle corridor?
Yes. Thank you very much for your question. So actually we add some scenario to the improvement of the Turkish railways in addition to the middle corridor railways or other infrastructure. So we conducted this simulation, but if we increase the level of service in the Turkish railways, the ferry cargo of Caspian Sea are expected to decrease from the previous scenario. So we consider it is because the improvement of the level of service in the Turkish railway will affect to extend the hinterland of the Turkish maritime port. So some policies, the impact of the some policies will how to say will end the other result than from our expectation. So the impact of the policies related to some middle corridor is very complicated. So my answers are a little bit different from your question, but how to say that this is some competition between the maritime shipping and the land transport if we focus on the Turkish situation.
I think we have some extra investments, maybe, or political strength.
Yes. Anyway, if the railway situation, for example, in the Turkish railway situation is improved, it will benefit the Turkish economy or Turkish logistics. But in the competitive situation between the middle corridor and the maritime transport route is a very complicated. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And actually, we don't consider some disruption in the current disruption for the Suez Canal in this model. So if we consider such disruption, the result will change, may change.
Maybe, of course. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shivasaki again. Now, I would like to give floor Ms. Saad Arnold, General Manager of Cedar Maritime Agency, to present on the subject of role of technology in delivering efficiency in the maritime world.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
I'm very happy to be with you today, given this chance, and to meet all of you. And special thanks to Professor Gökçe and Professor Ali for inviting me. I hope it will be fruitful for everybody. Before I start, I will just give a small introduction about myself. Yes, okay, just to share the screen. Sorry about that. Can you see that, or everybody?
No, actually.
No.
that we can see.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
you're all set now. A small introduction about myself to start with. My name is Saad Arnaout. I was born in 1966. I have a BA in business administration, surgery. I was graduated in 1988. I have 10 years experience in ship chartering and tramp vessel agency and ship brokerage. Then I moved to Maersk Line, and Maersk Line is very well known, so we will not say much. And now I'm in CMA CGM, heading the CMA CGM office actually in Jordan. I will be speaking about the role of technology and delivering efficiency in the maritime industry, and a bit in logistics. As you all know, technology has been improving and advancing in a very fast pace. And I will add that the maritime sector and shipping is also a huge sector and diversified in many ways. Most of my experience is in liner shipping, but I will try also to touch upon other aspects of shipping and hopefully in logistics. As you all know, or starting with the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm happy to say that during that period, that the maritime sector was so developed, and it was tested in that period to show the advancement in the technology in our sector. It is very usual in our business to work 24/7 and to have accesses from home or from anywhere. So it was put on test during the pandemic period, and it was very successful. From that day till today, of course, many things have developed, which we will be also discussing later on. The role of technology, of course, you can imagine that technology will deliver more efficiency in the operations. In shipping, we have different aspects, starting with running the ships themselves, the operation of the ship, and port operations, visibility, tracking, safety. So technology will be playing a vital role in the future in increasing all these elements. I will start with the first aspect, which is the running of the ships. And it would be funny if now the ships will be self-driven. We will have drone ships from now on. For sure, that technology has played a vital role in the navigation of the ships, using GPS, using AI, using chatbots. Now today, navigation is connected directly to satellites. And this has helped to really navigate the ships and deliver the position very accurately. Also, the use of AI is helping to determine ETA of the ship, to determine the best speed that the ship will be using. So technology is really playing a big role to help navigation. Also, technology is helping to reduce possibilities of accidents. It is delivering better safety for navigation. Technology also now is helping in training the new staff, the crew members, the navigators themselves through simulators and the use of modernized equipment that will help people to learn and be well trained in handling the equipment of the ship. One important aspect also is the data analysis. In running the ship, now we are using the data on how the ship is really being driven efficiently, on the performance of the equipment, on the best speed, fuel consumption. So all this data is being gathered and it is helping in development, the equipment of the ship and the running of the ship. AI is helping also in determining the best routes or the best elements, taking into consideration sea circumstances, weather circumstances, the ship itself. Also, we have the ship design, which is now being technology is helping with this data that we talked about. They are using the data in order to create a better model for the ships. And you know that today, the sizes of the ships are being increasingly getting larger in a way. So technology and data from the past is being used to help find the best design of the ships. A lot of elements, a lot of technologies are being used today in all aspects in navigation and the running of the ship. I wouldn't say that today, maybe in our sector, in the big ships, of course, you will still need manpower. But definitely, if you look at the past 20 or 30 years, you will see that the number of crew members needed to run a ship has decreased. So technology and the advancement in control equipment, in navigation, the ship equipment is run automatically through control devices, has reduced the need for a large number of people to be there. Of this will also reduce the cost. And like I said, it will increase the safety. Definitely, the control of the ship will be run in a centralized area where everything can be controlled. We do have smaller models of, let's call them drone ships, which can navigate autonomously. To use that in the same way that we do have it in the cars, it is used in the ships. You have GPS, you have communication, advanced communication equipment, you have remote control on the ship, on its equipment, on its storage areas, in the VHF. The navigation is very accurate. The position of the ship is very accurate. Sensors are helping in detecting the efficiency of the engines, of other equipment, on the consumption of the fuels. Optical cameras are used, and of course, internet-based solutions are used to always give feedback to the center. So the advance in technology is being or affecting heavily the way the ships are navigated. And now today, the cost and efficiency and the better use of this equipment will lead to very improved performance. Of course, as working in the liner shipping, the feedback is very important. So in the control area, the feedback is being gathered through remote detectors to the center, and the navigation is being done in remotely with immediate feedback and the chance of immediate actions when needed. Feedback also is given. Now you know the position of the ship is announced wherever it is. I'm also talking about liner shipping and containers, so you can have tracking of your cargo immediately, spontaneously, and then you get the feedback. All this advancement has helped in the navigation. Analysis. Data analysis is very important. I was speaking about navigation, about running the ship. Now I will speak also about the market analysis, the demand forecasting. So we're using all this data to plan our services, to think ahead, to see where the demand is, to improve our efficiency in giving the service to our customers. All the feedback that to the market, to our customers, very important. The best customers in our area, in our scope of work, visibility of the cargo is very important. Today, in our shipping, many applications, and this is in the past 2-3 years, many applications and many advancements have occurred that are helping us deliver the best service to our customers. Today, you can, through even a mobile application, price your cargo. You can place a booking from your phone, from your office, without the intervention of your cargo, which is very important to our clientele. They can track on daily basis their cargo and its place. Many of the required customer service and customer requirements can be done through our platforms. So platforms have been developed so that they connect us with our clients and with the least intervention or interaction with people. Just by a click, you can do and request and get your service through these platforms. In our sector, in the liner shipping, documentation is very important. And the documentation today side is also advancing at a very fast pace. The latest, in my opinion, and most important development is the e-bill of lading. today, instead of having all original documents, we are able to create a digital bill of lading, which is accepted by the banks. The other documents also, like invoices, like certificate of origin, and everything required through the banking channels can be produced electronically and is verified. This will really reduce the time needed. In the past, you need to issue originals, which should be verified and stamped, and then you send it to the receivers, which would take a couple of weeks, a month, sometimes are delayed. Today, you can do all that in a matter of minutes. Our relationship with our clients is therefore has been changed through these platforms, and they can do what they need without or with the least effort and the best efficiency. Many of the shipping companies today, including CMA CGM, and it's a global requirement, we are looking at green shipping. Ships are being exchanged instead of burning fuel. Now, many of the ships of the fleets are changing to LNG. LNG is producing lesser amounts of CO2. And lately, we are also developing the hydrogen fuel or organic fuel, which has zero emissions. Most of the shipping companies, because ships contribute to a large amount, about 13% of the CO2 emissions globally. Now, most of the shipping lines are targeting zero emissions by 2050. Technology that we have talked about at the beginning with feedback about the engine, about the other equipment is also giving fuel consumption efficiency and reducing the CO2 emissions, not to mention that globally and most of the shipping lines are operating globally, so they are subject to many global regulations that do affect the operation and do have an impact on the performance of the company within the allowed CO2 emissions. Smart containers. Today we have what we call smart containers. Smart containers have a tracking device. Although it is very normal today that through the platforms and the operation of the shipping company that you do know where your container is, but with smart containers, which is a smart seal, by the way, that you place on the container, you will get immediate and very comprehensive feedback on your the cargo in your container. So the container will have this seal or device, and you will know exactly where it is, the position, first of all. If something goes wrong, it will give you feedback. If the door is open, it will tell you it was open. In refrigerated containers, it will give you the temperature, it will give you the conditions that the cargo are being subject to. This will allow, again, for immediate visibility. Visibility will give everybody the chance to take immediate action. Ports. So we said that the shipping world is very diversified. So it's not about container shipping. It is also about other kinds of shipping, like bulk shipping, like oil tankers, like cruise ships. And you can imagine, and half an hour will not be enough to explain all the systems and all the advances that have been placed in practice that has helped. But I have explained about the containers, which is my specialty. But if I just touch upon, and you look at a very large crude carrier, and then you will also have this feedback, you will have this running efficiency, the discharge rates, and so on. Look at the cruise ships, where the cruise ships all the passengers and all the requirements is now being done through platforms, and the platforms are being run by AI. So all that headache, all that place for mistakes is not available anymore. Today, it is just done on an application, and you are sure that the service is being delivered immediately. I remember when I was starting my job, I had to fill like 325 pages of a questionnaire for P&O cruises. Today, which covers every aspect of navigation, the port, and the passenger requirements, and so on. So it's 325 pages of paper to fill. Today, everything is available, and it's available online. But being back to the port operation, I remember that 20 years ago, Jebel Ali started the container port of Jebel Ali started using automated gantry cranes. Automated gantry cranes, you just put the plan for the discharge of the ship into the system, and the cranes will immediately, autonomously do all the operation of discharge, loading, and moves required. And it is not human operated, it is run by the system. Port equipment is being used also without, like drones, it's without drivers. So these equipment are programmed just to do the move needed. Imagine that all of this has what impact it will have on the number of people needed to perform the work, and the cost and the efficiency. A very key word in all of this until now from ships and now in the port, safety. Safety is very important, and the use of the technology is really improving the safety. For error is very limited, with all the controls being made through automated systems. Again, also in ports, it is very important to have the monitoring, the records, and the feedback, which is being controlled by AI. So information is now available. It is used immediately to improve the operation. Today, Aqaba Container Terminal, which we have here, have placed digital camera systems monitoring the cargo when it's discharged and monitoring the cargo when it is gated out. The camera system is being controlled by an AI system. So it's not only giving feedback of any mistakes or any notes that you may have on the container or any cargo. it will also now is able to give feedback even to the operators like us, the shipping lines, in case their containers or their cargo needs repair or needs maintenance. So a very developed system that will give visibility on all the operation from the ship to the gate or from the gate to the ship. Also, we have mentioned Aqaba Container Terminal. It will be the first port in the Middle East to become a green terminal. All terminals are now changing their equipment from diesel fuel operated equipment into electrical equipment. They are also very involved in sustainability, and they are contributing in the area to increase greenery, to increase trees, and perform recycling, to look after the ecosystem and the seas. So this is very important. Like shipping lines, also ports are playing a vital, important role, and they are contributing in having their part done in sustainable operation. It is also important, now I have covered two parts, which is the ship operation and the ports. I will touch upon the supply chain. In supply chain and logistics, as you may already know, visibility and control on the cargo is very vital. All the processes, they say that in the supply chain is expected to be autonomous by 2035. Today, logistics and supply chain are using various systems to run their operation, to control the shipments, and to give the clients immediate visibility. Last but not least, also having the data analysis that will help improve in the future. In many places, in logistics, robotics are being used. So instead of having a distribution center, which is manually made, everything is being channeled correctly in a way that through robotics and barcodes, and it is then delivered to the final destination accurately. We can see here a few examples of the top and more latest technological advances in logistics. The use of blockchain, AI, digital twins and virtual reality, robots, cloud logistics. All these systems, and you have heard about, are being used and are delivering the required efficiency needed. The goals and objectives of the technology is to reduce manpower, to reduce cost, and to increase efficiency. And in our terms, efficiency is visibility and it is on-time delivery. So AI is helping to reach those goals, and blockchain. Don't forget also the use of chatbots that are providing feedback on immediate terms. What are the effects of all this technological advancement? We have better planning. We have the transparency that we need with our business and with our clientele. We have real-time feedback and real-time updates. And most important is the follow-up and taking the required reaction in case it is needed. Blockchain, you have all heard, is exactly designed to perform the required tasks that will help the supply chain to work efficiently. Blockchain will start tracking the product. It will give the planning, help giving the planning for the delivery, follow up through the operation itself, and it will provide the transparency and the tracking ability with the best solution available. AI, artificial intelligence, is actually entering all our ways of living. We are hearing about that in all our lives. Today, we can see from AI, which will perform most of the task and help us to take the right decisions, to make the right planning. It is giving analysis and feedback on the ship operation, on the port operation, on the blockchain, in the supply chain. So AI is the way in the future to deliver the needed help, information, and feedback to improve the efficiency in the supply chain itself. Thank you very much, everybody. If someone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any question for Mr. Arno?
So I have a question to Mr. Arnold. Mr. Saad, thank you very much for this inspiring presentation. I truly appreciate actually how it's being quite helpful in reconsidering of the role of new technologies in the maritime sector. Also, since you are from the sector, for your perspective on issues is important. I have a small question. How can the integration of advanced technologies be utilized to improve to environmental sustainability practices in maritime industry? Would it be possible, do you know, are artificial intelligence application used by companies in the sector regarding sustainability and carbon emission reduction?
If I understand the question correctly, you are asking how AI will be used to increase or to improve the sustainability and reduce CO2 emissions.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, AI is being used today, let's say, in an intensive way, in order to give feedback. Like I said, in our sector, or the maritime sector, is very huge. So you have diversified aspects and different shipping areas, different ships, different ports. But in all of these, first of all, the running of the ship. AI is being used heavily to get feedback and give solutions, suggest improvements in, first of all, the way the ship is run, meaning navigating. So what is the best speed? And this changes, by the way, depending where the ship is, in which waters. If it's hot waters, if it's cold waters, it is you have winds. So let me say simply that yes, AI will give the feedback on the way the ship is being driven, let's say, or navigated in the seas. Second, all the sensors on the ship will give feedback to AI on the best performance these equipments, engines, and so on are giving the job. So if there's a deficiency or there is, for instance, a higher or a high consumption due to any failures or any needing maintenance or whatever. So all the sensors are giving feedback through AI, which analyzes the performance of the equipment, including engines, which is very important. And then it will reduce the fuel consumption, thus CO2 emission. The same you can just copy paste and apply in the ports. So the ports also, you need to have this efficiency. Until now, it's things are changing and most of the equipment will be changed into electrical, but nevertheless, and this is, like I mentioned, it's being used also here in Jordan, that AI is giving or is being used to analyze the feedback and data on the operation of the port, being the cranes, the equipment, the trucks, RTGs, you have several different equipment, heavy equipment that is being run in the port. So through the sensors, feedback and AI analysis is being made to increase the efficiency of the equipment and give the best solution with the least CO2 emission. In logistics, just a small word. We have different aspects in this, but in a small word, I will not repeat myself. You can imagine all the same, but in logistics also, besides efficiency of the equipment, warehouse running, the equipment in the warehouse, trucks, and you have so many things to consider, plus the efficiency of the operation of delivering or taking the cargo is being analyzed by AI.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I hope I answered.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arno.
Thank you.
Now, we have Professor Ali Arno from Schule Wismar University, who will present relevance of time to manage the life cycle asset value of heavy asset companies for decarbonization on the example of a cruise company. Professor Arno, please.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's great to see you. Hi, Saad.
Morning, Ali.
I will try to share my screen. So
yeah, we can all see. Yeah, we can all see it.
Oh, wonderful. I will go into presentation mode. So yes, it's my pleasure and my honor to be with you today and to talk about the topic you just introduced. And this is in direct connection of what Saad Arnold just said. I want to put a focus on a practical example of how sustainability investments in the cruise industry can be looked at with a timing perspective. And this is what the title is: the relevance of the time, how to manage the life cycle of heavy asset companies. So let me first quickly introduce myself. Yeah, you said I'm a professor for international management at Wismar University. But just to let you know that in my former life, I collected my experiences in the investment and asset management business, where we did ship investments, real estate investments, private equity. And for about 8 years, I was the CFO and the Chief Information Officer of Germany's largest cruise company, which is called AIDA. And the examples I give you today, or the insights I give you today, come from this company. So I speak as a practical manager here. So let me start to warm up all of us with looking at this decarbonization challenge that Saad just described holistically and in all these aspects and technologies that you could consider. But when you look at this from a perspective of a company now, so imagine we are all cruise company managers and we own a fleet of ships, and those ships are heavy, these ships are expensive, and these ships have a very long lifetime. Usually they are in the books and depreciated over a lifetime of minimum 30 years, sometimes longer, 40, 50 years. Then the challenge in front of us with decarbonization is that if you go on with your strategy to create emissions, you will do a business as usual. And of course, then when you look at your projects to reduce CO2, this is here part number 1, then you can identify your planned reductions. But this is, from today's perspective, Saad, you said this as well, this is not sufficient because there's a lot of regulation now out there, especially from the EU taxonomy regulation, ESG regulation in the European context. So you have to initiate more projects, short and midterm projects, to reduce the CO2, and then you might find out what is possible. But we know today that this is also not sufficient. All cruise companies at the moment are struggling to define a pathway, to define a way how to possibly ever reduce the emissions to the required standard and levels. So you need innovation. And this means long-term initiatives and projects that need to be assessed today, and that should contribute to the savings targets to ever then arrive ever in the zero emissions point of time. And what I did here is you see that these arrows define different ambition levels. But if your ambition level needs to be higher, you have less time to accomplish more. So the volume of reductions needs to be higher. And that is exactly the stress and the requirement that a lot of shipping companies, as you described, but also the cruise companies really face as of today, and they don't have the answers yet. And I want to give you an insight of how this really looks like. So let me here give you some more information about what this EU taxonomy regulation is requiring. And you see here also a picture of one of the ships that I was responsible for when we had 14 of these ships. And maybe you have seen this nice hull painting also before. So the areas of specification and requirements toward cruise ship companies are huge. And what you see here are the 6 pillars of the EU taxonomy compass. So climate change mitigation activities, climate change adaptation activities, water and marine resource protection, circular economy activities for waste prevention and waste recycling, the pollution prevention, and actions towards biodiversity and ecosystems. And I don't want to read out all of those here now, but when you look into the specification, and you might have seen this, if not, I would recommend to really go to the EU website, check the EU taxonomy compass, go into those 6 pillars which are there by way of a database, and then you could look for the transport sector, and in the transport sector you find the requirements toward the shipping, and in the shipping requirements you will find exactly here all those requirements of what you need to do today and in the future to comply with the regulations of European Union towards emission reduction by decarbonization. This is the way. And there are a lot of existing legal frameworks, and you see here below some examples. This is not holistic. The list of those requirements is huge, but from the indication, you see, for example, the IMO, which is the International Maritime Organization, a huge standard-setting organization for the maritime industry. You see here with the indication of EU, there are several European standards, and there are others like MARPOL. The list of requirement documents and specifications probably is hundreds, if not thousands, that companies need to understand and to manage at the same time. But you also see that some requirements are not yet even defined. So there's a gray box, and the understanding of the standard setting board, of the EU, of the IMO, of the MARPOL, whoever, are not yet even published. But that means the companies have to be ready and flexible to receive them and then to implement them as soon as possible. And this is also then relevant for the timing aspect. So this is a big challenge, and this is the message here from this chart. So let me speak about the example of the company that I had the honor to run as a managing director. And AIDA has a long history of trying to do the right thing with view to decarbonization and emission reduction here. And it started in 2004. Believe it or not, this is 20 years ago, or 20 years ago, when there was a ship design done, a new build order for a ship class called Sphinx. Already there in the design of the ship, the layout of the ship, there was specified a room for shore power connection, for shore power supply from the port, and to be able to receive power from external, more sustainable power plants instead of keeping the engine running during the port. So this is a 20-year journey already, but then you see there were different steps like new build orders in 2011, where also LNG, Saad, you said this, LNG supply was assumed and designed and engineered into the ship concept, but it was not yet available and provided. Then there was another ship generation, and I was managing this at the time with exhaust power and LNG supply. At this time, it was forbidden to put a fuel tank with LNG into a passenger ship. It was forbidden. Nevertheless, we ordered 6 ships with a tank because we believed that this would come someday. Then there was the shore power plant in Hamburg, the first one. Today in Germany, every port has shore power supply for cruise ships, and it's now coming also for container ships. Then there was the LNG propulsion of a ship that was. But long story short, you see also more steps. So there was a history, and you see the acceleration of the steps, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. There were more steps coming. 2022 was the battery pack project of the largest battery pack ever put onto a ship. But the journey is longer. So although here 18 or 20 years have been passed, looking forward, there is another 26 years to go. And the objective that we defined at the time was in 2030, we want to have the first zero emission vessel. And in 2040, the first the climate neutrality of the entire fleet. And now comes the sad news. Just a couple of weeks ago, the company has announced that 2040 is not possible. It has now been prolonged to 2050, which is a big pity. Why is that so? Well, because the regulation has been increased, the regulation has become more complicated, and also the financial restrictions have become more difficult because in the meantime there was a COVID crisis and there was a phase of no income and no profit and no investments. So there was a lot of time lost. I hope this gives you a feeling of how a strategy can look like, but there were also experiences with the projects made. If you are an innovator and if you try to reduce emissions and energy consumption, you work as a project manager. And some observations that I had, well, in the past we were looking at projects and we selected some projects, and then we didn't understand that one project has an interdependence to another project, because technology-wise this was not clear. But the conclusion that then turns out is, the project doesn't work and has no ROI, which not necessarily needs to be true. It's just about understanding the innovation here. In the execution of projects, you do a project, you put in, for example, the first battery, and then you believe you know how it works, and you finalize it. but then you learn that the ongoing tasks, the maintenance, the operations, the optimization takes a lot of money. And the conclusion usually is, oh, it doesn't work. The first shore power connection we were having, it was installed, but it took 3 years until it really was running smoothly and efficiently and cost optimal. Then with the monitoring, it's of course difficult with innovations to design a project, to fund the project, and to calculate, okay, but where's the benefit? What is the payback? What is the return? So very often projects were not supported because there was no return on investment visible. That means you couldn't confirm any relevance. Of course, this is changing with the increasing fuel prices. This is changing with more regulation. But when you don't see the end and the result of a project, the monitoring is very difficult. And sometimes also new technologies have an impact on the performance of the ship. For example, we implemented exhaust gas systems on all of the ships to filter the exhaust gas with a water mist. And it was an act of God to get them operated, because the costs and the installations and the repair and the endurance of the technology was so high, and you know, the running costs were much higher than the investment at the end. Administration was very high. So what I want to say here in a nutshell is, if you look at those kind of investments from a time perspective, in a traditional mindset way, you can't make the right decisions, because you assess them with the old sentiment, with the old mindset. But you need a different mindset here. And I will come to this. The different mindset, of course, is triggered by the what we call the life cycle management. And sorry, I see this is in German here, but you know the schemes. When you do an investment, you have an ongoing cost over time. And then at the end, you have disposal effects. So you need to take out technology, you have to write off technology. And of course, the trade-off is, if I do more at the beginning, maybe I can reduce the ongoing costs, and I can even avoid disposal effects. And this is a consideration that needs to be applied to all these decarbonization and emission reduction technologies in the shipping industry. And these trade-offs need to be well planned and well estimated. And there's another aspect I wanted to highlight, and this is traditional project management, but it plays a big role in the investment for decarbonization of shipping and cruising, is the timing. So, you know, every project you do has a latest possible start date and a latest possible end date. And usually we trend to take the time for preparation, then we start very late. But of course, there would be theoretically an earliest possible start date and an earliest possible end date, so to say. But how can you find this and optimize this without knowing the technology and without knowing what it can contribute to you? So here the trend is doing it rather lately to get more comfort. And now if you think about this in the context and imagine a lot of projects that you need to do, and think about the chart I showed you with all the regulation, then we know, and everybody knows, that in a certain future, there will be years where the amount of projects, the amount of technology investments, the amount of funds needed is so high that they really overlap. And this will stress your financial performance of the company, because you will need to invest much more. You need to earn back the money. You should have the funding, and you should have the depreciation potential, because everything you put into a ship, you have to take out something else, technology-wise, which has to be written off. So that's the disposal losses that we saw in the last slide. So here you see the timing now of a long period of time is really crucial. And if you wait too long, you will get this traffic jam here of possible projects. So how was the situation at AIDA, to bring you the concrete example? In 2018, we had a growing and aging fleet. So a lot of our ships that have been delivered in a short period of time were aging. We had different life cycle stages with different return on invested capitals. And when ships get older, they need to go into the dry dock much more often. In the first 15 years of life, every 5 years. In the second 15 years of life, at least every 3 years or 36 months. And that means there was an acceleration of dry docks, higher total cost with the aging fleet. And we needed better cost monitoring to see where to put our investments in the dry dock. And as a CFO, which I used to be, you have to decide, okay, do I put the money into repair, maintenance, and technical stuff? Do I put the money into the cabins and the public areas for the guests? Yeah, or do I now put the money into the sustainability projects? And then there was a competition between the categories of investments, what to do and what to do at the right time. With all the uncertainty I just described. When will it pay off? Yeah, how long will it take? What will be the surprises? Yeah, will the customers like it and pay more fees and so on? Yeah, so this is really the situation. At the same time, increasing guest expectations. They want to have a nice ship with the best equipment always. You have to do a lot of more back of the house investments because the customer, the guest on the ship doesn't see the technology. They don't care. They want to be on the sun deck with a drink. So you have to do a lot back of the house, which is not visible. And on the other side, we didn't have, I mean, we had a lot of funds and we were a very rich company, but you cannot spend the euro twice under uncertainty. And the solution that was then implemented by me was a concept called life cycle asset credit management, where we introduced then what's called the investment allowance for CapEx, but also allowances for OpEx. And I want to try to show you why and how this worked and what the impact was. So here you see an example of the book value life cycle of a ship. Yeah, how does it look from a book value? So you buy the ship in day one, it's the net book value with 100%, and then you're going to depreciate here, which is the line. So, but in the first couple of years, you depreciate from your book value, but you don't need to reinvest because it's a wonderful new ship. Yeah? So the first 5 years you write off, but you don't reinvest. But then in the year 5 or year 6, you do an investment, and let's assume that this is 20 billion euros. Yeah? And this happens for the next 5 years. But then the next investment is higher. And then you do it for the next 5 years, and the next investment is higher. So that means every 5 years, you need to put into the ship increases by the elapse of time because the ship gets older. And when it gets older, it needs more care and more attention. And then when you then plan for innovation of decarbonization, and that is the effect that we had in our ships, yeah, you're planning for the big turnaround, the big refit, yeah, and then you look into the engine, the fuel, the technology. So you want to do everything that's possible to buy yourself the certainty that you're on the right track to meet the emission targets 2030, 2040, 2050. Yeah? So you really have to take the risk of high investments. But from a financial point of view, what happens then? You need to invest so much money that all the gained depreciation advantage, yeah, which is reducing your net book values and which is improving your return on asset, yeah, is lost and it breaks down again. So you get a little bit in the trap that your return on asset is reduced again because of the investment. You have a better ship in terms of sustainability and emission maybe, but since regulation is going on and you need more than one major refit, it can happen that that you need to do so many investments in a later stage of the asset life cycle, so into an old ship, so to say, that that your depreciation curve is always jumping up and is suboptimal because it's diluting your return. So, and to manage this ship by ship by ship by ship, yeah, and here I'm showing this for a ship example where you start only after year 15 or 16 or 17 to do it. But a lot of ship owners have to do it very early, because if the ship is delivered, it's there, it's only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, you need to deal this earlier. But that means you have more time to optimize this curve. You have more time to optimize this development and to plan for it. So how did we do it and what was the rules of this concept? Better controlling the development of the investment base, and make sure that the depreciation curve is in line with the financial planning. We gave limited OpEx budgets, and we tried to keep free and reserve part of the budget for those sustainability investments that were really, really necessary. We did a much more precise investment planning. So I need to admit, in the past, when the engineers were coming, when our shipbuilding department was coming and said, hey, we need 20 or 30 or 40 million euros, we said, okay, here's the money, and have fun in the dry dock. But from then on, we said, oh, no, we need to have a very clear, precise planning, what to do and what for, and does it really give us a certainty that the decarbonization is improved and the emissions are reduced? The decision was that 50% of any investment in dry docks was dedicated to replacement and maintaining, so substantial investments, and the other 50% was then reserved for the sustainability investment. One important factor I want to highlight again is every time you put new technology, new components, new aggregates into a ship, you have to take out the old one, which needs to be depreciated in this moment. So you have extraordinary losses, and those losses are impacting your P&L. Every technology that was put into the ship was then calculated to have a lifetime only of 10 years. So we even put stress on the investment business cases. So every new technology put in should pay off and should be expected to be depreciated after 10 years, because you have to expect innovation, better technologies, new technologies, and you probably will not operate what you put in today for more than 10 years. And then maybe in 2035, there will be the next technology. But you need to be able, from a time and cost perspective, to do this. This was a lot of challenges for the financial planning, as you can imagine. So you have uncertainty, you have long lifetimes, you have limited resources. And what we did, for example, I want to only highlight a few ones. We artificially increased our internal transfer prices, for example, for fuel. So the market price for a ton of fuel for metric ton was like $300. We calculated with $600 and $700 just to artificially increase the cost of the opportunistic scenario and to make projects profitable from a business case perspective, so that they pay off and that they come into the relevant set. Although the market prices were lower, we calculated higher internal transfer prices. If we wouldn't have done this, a lot of projects would have never been approved, would have never been funded, and they would have been died, and then we wouldn't have done the right thing. The challenge is to manage the portfolio of highly innovative projects in one time, do this for the entire fleet, understand the interdependencies of technologies, and taking this life cycle perspective to the asset management. The CFO here became something like the chief emission officer, so that you can manage the finances and the emissions at the same time. What the formula is here that you need energy, and the energy has an emission, and the emission and the energy have a cost. So when you manage the cost, you manage the energy and the emissions. And when you want to manage emission and energy in a good way, you have to have the cost control. So this is one challenge with different currencies, so to say. So there's the currency of the euro and the dollar, but you can also put the emission ton and the gigajoule or the kilojoule as an energy unit beside. To enrich existing plans and reports and have better reporting, and to accept that what was true or sufficient in the past is maybe no longer appropriate in the future. And this is then the approach to have a further evolution towards the decarbonization. You will get the slides here, and I'll stop here because I don't want to go here into the details, but every company has to learn to go a path from assessing the situation, making good business plans, setting the right targets, and then come to what's called the emission pricing, and to understand how can we better price our services and our costs and our logistic costs. Saad, you were talking about AI, you were talking about blockchain technologies. Everything shipping companies or cruise ship companies do has to be funded by the customer. So you have to think about what is the impact on my pricing of my services and my goods, to have a holistic management at the end. So I pause here. I think I kept the 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm open here for your question. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Orne. Any question for Professor Arno?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ali. I can see in your last slide, you have put an example that would support my presentation. that you are using AI software to support the control of emissions and so on, optimizing the efficiency of the equipment and the engines, whatever you have on the ship.
Yeah.
I have a small question. In the previous slide, I saw that at the end you are achieving cost reductions or savings. Would you just tell me from where that saving came? Is it less maintenance? Is it this efficiency? Or do you have examples?
Yeah, I can try to give you some examples. So one example was with the use of AI basically means that you put your data, all the data you have from operations, you put into one big data repository, and that you use AI, to investigate, to analyze, and understand the data. So some conclusions were the better planning of the route of the shipping, and the calls and the legs of a journey. And by optimizing this, you could then get a better ratio of duration of operation, distance sailed, distance in port, time in port, time on open sea. And this is one effect, that the routes and the journeys today look different than 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, but because of the conclusion of optimization from the AI. The second very important one is the speed. Just by changing speeds and by optimizing speeds on the legs, you can have significant savings of fuel and therefore emissions, because the speed profile is exponential. If you have a little higher speed, you have relatively higher consumption of fuel and also emissions. A third example I want to mention, what we learned, is really the better handling of the complexity of the technologies. So, for example, when you control the leg and you control the speed and you operate the engine, then, for example, other systems like consumers on board, for example, osmosis plant or the other power consumers, they sometimes fail, they sometimes have default situations and so on, that you better manage the entire system, and you can find correlations. For example, when the outside temperature is like X, when the wind speed is Y, when the wave has a certain height or so that if the waves are high and the ship is in heavy waters, in the same time, that so many people are on board, and it's at 8 p.m. in the evening, then nobody's in the cabin because everybody is in the restaurants, they're in the open spaces. And then, for example, that you need more power supply for the engine, but at the same time, you need less power supply for the air conditioning of the cabin. So it's like user profiles that you can really see, and you can better optimize the consumption, so the consumers of energy, and the consumer energy is then influencing the demand of energy. And this was the third very important success to better balance out the supply and the demand of energy over 24-hour cycle. And this is then reducing the emissions. So these are some examples.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Arno again. Now, I would like to give floor to Mr. Haldun Kavrar, General Manager of ATF Forwarding, to present on subject to indefinite era just-in-time system.
Hi, everyone. This is Haldun Kavrar, and I'm glad to be here. And I would like to thank especially to Mr. Ayhan for his invitation, and Mr. Köksal for his also invitation. Briefly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Haldun Kavrar. I'm in the shipping industry for the last 30 years. I was born and raised in Mersin, and I'm the member of board of directors of UTokyo group of companies. I'm also the general manager of ATF Forwarding worldwide. I'm also a member of board of trustees of Toros University, which I'm also proud to be a part of the university. So I'll turn on my
Screen.
yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, just a sec. I studied at the University of Istanbul in the early 90s. Since then, was my first class, I remember, business administration, and my first book, and it was talking about just-in-time system. So 30 years passed, and we have the pandemic and a lot of changes in the world. One thing didn't change in my life, that was just-in-time system. And I like to be in touch with the clients, both in Turkey and both in abroad, especially in Europe and USA. Whenever we visit them and whenever we talk about logistics, all care about is the cost saving. So this might be the result of stock exchange markets, because once you are in the market, a stock exchange, the profit you are making is more valuable than the sustainable business you are investing in terms of investors. So during the pandemic, we all, at least I saw that when you focus on more in just-in-time system, when things change rapidly, you start losing money, a big amount of money. So I was telling my clients that they should change the mentality of how they do supply chain. They should switch it from cost cutting to value adding. And after pandemic, I never heard from my clients, I never seen any of our clients either increasing the capacity of their warehouses or moving into a bigger warehouse. After pandemic, they went back to their obsession, which is just-in-time system. Then we start having the Red Sea crisis. And let me show you a graphic. This is a Shanghai Container Index. As you can see in the index, the rates, overall rates, went up from below $1,000 per 20-foot container to about $3,000 per 20-foot container. So the rates now the shippers and buyers are paying is three times more than they were paying in 2023. So when the crisis in the Red Sea, when the Houthis are started attacking the cargo vessels, the market, especially in Turkey and Europe, were short of inventory. So they start buying cargo, but this time, because of the long transit time, they start doing shipping with air freight. So if you look at the chart, you can see that in 2023, all year, Shanghai exported as an airport 4 million metric tons. When we are in 2024, in the first 5 months, the cargo departed from Shanghai was 3.4 million metric tons. So in the first 5 months, Shanghai almost handled the same cargo volume they handled in 2023. This means shippers and buyers, they start paying higher air freight charges because of lack of inventory, because supply chain decision makers, they were so focused into just-in-time system, they were so focused into cost-cutting procedures, they missed the coming risks. So what should be on the supply chain decision makers' tables are climate change. From now on, all supply decision makers, I suggest they focus into climate change. We all know what's happening in Panama Channel. Because of lack of water, the channel is not performing the higher potential. So the number of vessels passing through the channel decreased dramatically. Now the season is changing in South America. So now we have more water and the number of vessels are increasing day by day. But after 6 months, we'll have the same thing. The water in the channel will start decreasing and the number of vessels passing through the channel will decrease. And this will again cause a higher rate. International politics. We all seen that Russia attacking Ukraine and the war between Israel and Palestine affect all logistics, affecting all supply chain procedures. It changed the world. And now no one knows what will happen next. We don't know what will happen if Trump elected in USA in the November's elections in USA. We don't know how his relation will be with China. If they're going to be a trade war, if they're going to be another war, as we see nowadays, small wars. We don't know if China will attack to Taiwan. And now we should all think about what will happen when Trump elected. Now, this week we have European Parliament's elections. We don't know what will happen after the elections. If the right wings will get more chairs than before, this will also affect international politics. And when we talk about international politics, this brings with the risks. So I suggest, I'm in the market for the years. I'm in touch with the clients. So I suggest all supply chain decisions should change the way they are looking at their business. It's not always cost cutting. It's sustainability and it's value-added services. So this is all I have. And I thank you very much for your time and for your invitation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Any question for Mr. Kavrar? No question? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kavrar, again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now I would like to express my appreciation once again to all keynote speakers and participants for their valuable contributions. Moving forward, we will proceed to the next part of the symposium program, which entails scientific studies starting at noon, precisely at 1:30 in Turkish local time. These studies will be conducted in 2 parallel sessions. Participants who wish to follow the presentations or present on their research in the sessions can access the link provided in the symposium program and breakout rooms as well. Let me remind you that we have 4 precious keynote speakers tomorrow: Dr. Mattia Kraglia, Dr. Monnet, Professor Alexandra Laskowska-Rutkowska, and Kenan Kavrar, Head of Commercial of Mersin International Port. Thank you all and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your all presentations of the keynote speakers and you for us in this symposium. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you again.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye-bye.